Amphibia is back for a brand new adventure. We are approaching 3 years since the animated series concluded on Disney Channel, and yet, somehow our beloved frog cartoon is the gift that keeps on giving. With the release of the art book, which is a great purchase by the way, I cannot recommend it enough if you're a fan of the show. Every single episode has a page dedicated to it, and it's just nice owning a catalog of the crew's hard work. Of course, a new Disney book means a new book signing, which was held this past weekend at Barnes & Noble, and there, Matt Braley unveiled the next Amphibia project, Amphibia Strange Voyage, a 10-issue graphic novel miniseries written by Matt Braley himself and illustrated by Beatrice Bovo, aka Zio Randy, a freelance artist who's actually a big fan artist in the Amphibia community. It is awesome whenever a fan gets to cross over into official work, so that put a big old smile on my face. But what will this sequel comic series even be about? Well, we have a very basic synopsis, which is that this graphic novel will focus on Sprig and his friends exploring a brand new continent, the same one that Ivy told him about during the epilogue of the series.
Prime just told me they discovered a new continent, untouched by frog, newt, or toad. Feel like a new adventure?
However, Matt did share a couple of years ago that he has an idea for an Amphibia movie that would be a time-traveling story where Sprig, Polly, and the others go back in time and meet their ancestors, like Lief and Barrel.
I think about a movie a lot, and I'll just tell you right now, the movie would be a time travel movie. I want to see Lief and Barrel interact with our modern day characters. It would be the best way to kind of create a satisfying new story.
Which would also mean a younger Andreas would be in the picture. And the core would be lurking about. Now, I'm pretty excited about this sequel for a few reasons. One, I'm excited to see all these characters depicted in a new art style for the series. Because the comic isn't moving, and you don't have to worry about animating 24 frames per second, panels can afford to have a lot more detail. And when it comes to elements such as action, I'm usually more partial to comics and manga over anime and cartoons, because unless you have a Mappa level production, action may not always look as good in motion. There's always a risk that it could look stiff. And I think people tend to be more forgiving when comics go off model or really pushes their expressions compared to cartoons and anime where they face a lot more scrutiny. The artist just has a lot more freedom in general, and I'm pumped to see how that enhances this particular story. And if this arc performs well, which I imagine it will, we only got to this point because Marcy's journal and the art book have sold well, then it's entirely possible we'll get another miniseries afterwards. Because I'm fiending to see what happens next in Anne, Sasha, and Marcy's story. You cannot just leave us in the cliffhanger that Marcy's journal provides, where they may be able to go back to Amphibia as adults, but who knows? And if you're wondering why we're seeing more graphic novels and books as opposed to an animated continuation, it really just boils down to two things. 1, different departments, and 2, money. From my understanding, it's way easier for collaborators to work with Disney books as opposed to Disney animation. That's part of why we've seen so many Gravity Falls books over the last few years as opposed to a direct continuation in animated form. Alex Hirsch and Disney books work a lot better together than Alex and Disney TVA. Granted, Gravity Falls ended like 9 years ago, leadership has changed, so maybe you'd have an easier time working with them in 2025, but with the industry on fire, don't hold your breath. And as for money, yeah, animation is expensive. We're talking about millions of dollars going into just a single season, compared to graphic novels which cost a fraction to produce. It's a much better investment because if it sells well, odds are it'll make its money back in no time. Again, we wouldn't be getting all these Amphibia books if they weren't seeing a profit. Amphibia was definitely popular for its time, but it's still nowhere on the level of Kim Possible or Phineas and Ferb. So getting an animated project off the ground is a lot harder than just another book, especially since none of the big studios in animation would want to take a risk right now. It sounds crazy because if Amphibia is selling so well, how could more animation be a risk? But from my understanding, it's just ultimately a safer bet to invest in something that doesn't cost as much money that they know they'll see a profit on versus like an animated special or something where they could make it and put it on Disney Plus, but if it doesn't get the numbers they want, which judging by the streaming landscape as a whole is a crazy amount, they might just write it off as a failure or something not worth their time. Disney television animation, like the rest of animation, is going through a very turbulent time, so these graphic novels are the best they can do for now. And I mean, I'm fine with it. We're still getting more story. I can still break down and talk about said story with all of you. The frogs aren't just moving on screen with voice acting. But as someone who has submerged himself into manga over the last couple of years, that's my preferred method of entertainment anyways. Also, pour one out for the Owl House fans. They have not gotten anything post-finale. And with Dana being pretty vocal about the fact she's not a big fan of Disney, I don't think the Owl House is getting new content anytime soon. Plus, she's busy with Nights like Guinevere, but I would love to be wrong. Still though, I feel for the homies. That said, I want to know what you guys think. How do you feel about this announcement? What do you want to see in Amphibia Strange Voyage? Let's get a dialogue going in the comments down below. Thanks for watching, and I'll talk to you guys next time. Peace.
What we do here is go back.
Need something to throw on while you draw, study, or sleep? Roundtable Rewind's got you covered. So why not take a stroll down memory lane and subscribe?
No one can tell me what to do.
See you there.